Hi there, I'm Cher Johnston, and welcome to my happy place. We're going to work on our stitch dictionary today. First of all, use this hashtag, stitch book, or we could use stitch dictionary. Anyways, join my Facebook group, Cher Johnston Stitch Book Community. Please hit the like button and hype the video if you don't mind. Today we're going to do a back stitch. And I was looking at, I know this has glare. This is the Pentangle website. She has all these different back stitches listed out. Oh, I'm not going to do all of that in my book. However, we are going to do, this is in her book. Here she talks about back stitch and all the different ways that you can use the back stitch. And then she does a beaded back stitch, which we're going to do. I really love this little design here. I may put that in my book. Then we're going to do a threaded back stitch. Then we're going to do a back stitch threaded stacked back stitch. Then we're going to do a trellis stitch and a whipped back stitch, and that's it. There we go. I love this threaded stacked back stitch used in crazy quilting. Okay, so we're going to do those today. And also I got out some needles. I want to talk about needles, and I want to talk about threads. So if I don't tell you what threads I'm using, somebody will ask me. I'm certain of it. I have my Aurifil. This is a number 12 pearl cotton, and this is not the number 12. I pulled out the wrong one, but this that I have in my needle is also a number 12. That's just the same color. This is sewing machine thread, and I have that because I love the color. Then I also have, I'm going to use this for threading, for like whipping or lacing or whatever. This is, again, I got it at a thrift store. But I did notice that this place is in North Hollywood, which is where I'm at. I've never used this. We're going to use it today. And I have this one that I'm going to use. This is 12 ply silk. Look at how thick that is. So what I did is I took it, split into 3. There's 2. And then I took one of them and split it in half. So I have 2 ply, and that's here. Then I ran it through my hair straightener just to make it a little less kinky. Then I have my Sherry Iris wool, and I doubled it over, and that's what I have in my little pin cushion. This is a toothpick holder that I found in a little shop, and I put some wool, a ball of wool in there. And that's my pin cushion. So then I wanted to talk about needles, because I don't think we talked about needles yet. I don't think that it's very important what kind of needles you use, and just use whatever you have. I would say in the beginning, if you have to buy needles, just get some. These are $1.49 at Hobby Lobby. They're embroidery needles. This is a size 3 to 9. In other words, there's size 3 needles, there's size 5, 7, and 9. Then these are also embroidery needles. I don't remember where these came from. These are size 1 to 5. And I don't know if you can see, such glare. If you can see the difference in the size. I would not buy needles this size, this big. These are size 1, 1, 3, and 5, and they're kind of big. For beading today, I have, I think these are mostly embroidery needles, and maybe, like I know this one is, and this might be a size 7 or a 9. With needles, the higher the number, the smaller the needle. So these really big ones here are size 1, and the teeny tiny ones are size 9. Okay, so I put little dots there, and you can't, I don't think you can see them anymore. So I have my, I'm going to start with this Sherry Iris wool. And you know what? I'm going to redo these dots. Okay. I have this pen. This is disappearing ink, and this is a mark be gone. This one erases with water. This one just disappears over. This is air and water soluble ink. Apparently, it will disappear within half an hour to an hour. And I have my stitching guide. This comes from the Geometry of Hand Sewing. It's a book. There's 2 cards that have dot grids in the back. There is a, did a book review on my channel. If you'd like to check that out. Anyway, if you are, a lot of stitchers will tell you just embrace the wonky. Well, that's not really me. I'm kind of a, sometimes it's a pain, but I like, I'm just going to embrace it. I like the perfection. Okay, here's our back stitch. I'm going to take 1 stitch forward and go forward 1 stitch. And then I'm going to go back a stitch and forward 2 stitches. That's why I like these dots in there, because when I say 2 stitches, you can see pretty obviously what I mean. Also, the dots help keep my lines straight. You could just put in a line. This is good for lettering or outlines, or like we did in one of our very first, before we started, I gave you patterns for these little things. If you go to my, I don't have it here. If you go to my Facebook group, it's there. The pattern for all the little icons. And I wanted to do those because I might have spaces, little empty spots in my book that I want to fill in, and not necessarily with stitches, because it's a It's a dictionary, you know, we have specific stitches that we're doing. Anyway, I could shut up so that I could fast forward through this part. Okay, now I'm going to go through the back and end off in the back. And in the back, I'm just going through the back layer. So there we go. Now, we're going to do a beaded back stitch. And I'm going to do I'm going to use this green. I checked all my needles and my beads to make sure that they would go. And this time I'm going to go this way because I have beads that have letters. So I'm going to go this way. I have these letters that I think they came from a bracelet, and they have it has a word, which is one of the reasons I wanted to go this direction. So I put the bead on, and I'm going to go back and then forward 2 stitch lengths, and then put the next bead on. And go back and go forward 2 stitch lengths. I got it on backwards. I mean upside down. I thought I was paying attention better, but I wasn't. And maybe I'll edit this out, but maybe not. I don't like to edit. I like to just stitch. And I do have my little needle threader. I bought this on Amazon, and I looked, and they are not cheap anymore. Okay, I want to go back, so I want it this way. They're not cheap anymore, and yeah, when I bought them, I bought like 6. I think I only have 3. Well, I'm sure that I have them all. I just can't find them. Okay, and then this one is going to go this direction. Wait, does it matter? Kinda does. But I like my little needle threader because it looks just like my Mitzi. who is sitting here with me. Or I should say, I sit here with her because she's got her spot by the window. I think even if I wasn't here right now, she would be sitting by the window. Now you could use, I didn't use seed beads because they're tiny and you wouldn't really be able to see them very well. You would just use like a number 1. No, number 10. Wait. Is this the same upside down, backwards? All right. You would use a number 10. I would use a number 10 milliner's needle. And these stitches are kind of a little bit too big for these little beads. But it's okay. It looks okay, huh? All right. Then I have, whoa, see? Then I have these other beads that I like. And I'm going to put a couple in here just because I like them. These little wooden beads. And let's just put another wooden bead. No, let's put a gold one. I didn't test the gold ones. Let's see. Yes, it goes on there. Let's put another wooden one. Okay. Then next, we're going to do I think she called it a threaded back stitch. But I'm just going to check my book and make sure. And I'm going to get new thread. Okay, that was the silk. That's 2 strands of that silk. And this time we're going to do, she has 2 different one is threaded, which goes like this. Then she has a different one that is laced. No, whipped, which goes around. We'll do both of those. But first we're going to do this laced one. So I'm going to go under. I have a tapestry needle so that I'm not going to pierce the fabric. Then I'm going to go back this way. And then this way. And then this way. Okay, now I want, the next one that we're going to do is stacked and laced. And I really like this silk, but I'm going to get 4 strands, I think. And then I want to thread it with this same thread. I really like that. So I'm just going to do off camera 3 rows of backstitch with this thicker, with like 4 strands, maybe 6 strands. I'll do that and I'll be back. Thought I'd do a little Mitzi intermission. She's so happy there, laying in the sun. Okay, I have, what, 6 rows there? I gotta tell you, I love this silk thread. I think that you could take a picture. I'll leave it there for a second so you can take a picture. If you go to this Rainbow Gallery, they're no longer in North Hollywood. I think they're in Burbank now, but they don't have a store. If you go online, you can search for a store that sells. I haven't done that, so I don't really know. And I love this. This is by the same place. So pretty. I just love it. Then I wanted to say something about this. Excuse me. Kinky. So I have right here beside me this, I have to unplug it to get it over here, hair straightener. And if you watch Jennifer Clouston, she'll say, "Do as I say, not as I do, peeps." Well, this is what you're supposed to do with silk ribbon and anything that you have that might have kinks like that. Yeah, because just works nicer, looks nicer. And I also didn't talk about this needle. This is a tapestry needle. It has a blunt tip. So you don't need to have one. You could use the eye of your needle, and that works just as well. I have one. I have many, many, many needles. So I'm going to use it. Then I'm going to do this on camera. And I'm going to jibber jabber for a minute about this. Comparison is the thief of joy. Teddy Roosevelt said that. And I wanted to talk about perfectionism. I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my stitching, my sewing. I think that comes from my mother. My mother would, if my seams weren't correct, she would take them out and have me redo it. My sister said one time, Mom took out your stitches for you. I was like, yeah, I think she knew that I wouldn't if she just told me to. But Mom made her take out all of her stitches. But what I wanted to say is that you don't have to be perfect, and you're not gonna be perfect. In the beginning, you need to just practice. Get yourself a doodle cloth, practice, practice, practice. The only one that you should be comparing yourself to is your yesterday self. So get yourself a doodle cloth and practice. And then save it. And I wish I had saved my doodle cloths, but I didn't. And so, yeah. That is so pretty. Okay, next is the trellis stitch. Okay, so I did my trellis, and it's funny that I was just talking about perfection and I missed a stitch there. I'm gonna leave it because I'm trying to embrace the wonky. Also this, I'm not sure that I like this water erase pen. My fabric's still all wet. I have to go through and, I don't know, do something to fix that. Okay. I have a different thread. This is Sue Spargo, number 3 pearl cotton, and this 19, that might be the color. I don't know. So now I did another back stitch, and this one is not all straight, and some of them are closer together. I was working on my tension. See this? Some of my stitches are way too loose. Some of them are tighter. So I need to work on my tension with this yarn anyways. So I made some long ones. I started making shorter ones. The short stitches work better. So when you whip this back stitch, I'm going to go in from the bottom each time. And I did this before at Christmas time, and I made a candy cane. It was so cute. Although I think I did a chain stitch that I whipped for the candy cane. But if you did this in red and white, it would make a lovely candy cane. Okay, I think I'm going to write in all the words. I hadn't decided if I was going to do that, but I think I will. I think I'll write in all the words and make the blue go away and take a picture and post the video. Join me on Facebook. I'd appreciate it. I want to see what you're stitching, what you're doing. Even if it's not this project. Look at this. I really like this. I like the way that turned out. Anyway, thanks for watching.